Hi folks, this is one of the more important videos that I will be doing for the year 2020, so stick with me on this because it's actually an extraordinarily helpful and important video concerning Jupiter's entry into Capricorn on December the 3rd, 2019, and Jupiter will be in Capricorn till December the 19th, 2020. So for most of 2020, Jupiter will be in the sign of Capricorn. We've talked so far, it's important to set the stage right now before we get into the Jupiter Capricorn transit. We've talked so far about the fact that there's the fall of Scorpio and there's been a lot of attention, and people who are seeing this video as one of the first videos that they're seeing and are not familiar with the Scorpio content I have published. If you look at my list of videos, there's a fair amount of content now about the transits in Scorpio, so please look there for greater details. We have talked so far that in this fall of Scorpio, there's a great deal, and has been and continues to be till January the 3rd, a great deal of focus and attention on our close relationships, on our emotional enmeshments and our financial enmeshments. Themes related to codependency, the health of our close, intimate relationships, whether they're romantic or business or familial or whatever those relationships are, have been on our mind. And October and November is when we may have felt the intensity the most, but may have been the least action-oriented. And December is a call to action, and some action does need to be taken in these areas, ideally to set boundaries and make decisions in ways that lead to happier and more peaceful outcomes. Whether this involves coming together with people or whether this involves separating from people. Is there a way, if you separate from someone, where a bridge can continue to be built? And in some cases it may be that the separation has a quality of permanence to it, where relationships are deemed to no longer be constructive or helpful at all. So as this work is going on, we have a bit of a challenge in December insofar as that the energies are shifting. And right around this time during this month, when there's a call to action and need to take action and need to be in communication, particularly over the next 4 or 5 days, about these areas, we're being introduced to a new set of energies in the sign of Capricorn. These new set of energies is where it is that we are feeling like we want to go, we are wanting to go there. It's where we're being invited to go, but this relationship, emotional enmeshment stuff has to be put to the side, put to bed, resolved in some ways, sorted out and settled so that the energy moving forward is clearer. The trickiness now in December, as new energies announce themselves and make themselves known, is ensuring that you finish up what needs to be finished up in this scorpionic realm of seeking emotional clarity and financial clarity when it comes to close and meshed relationships. And if someone said, what should be our first priority? I would say this remains your first priority, so that the energies can be clear to focus on more Capricornian activities. Point number 2, as a reminder, we are in a Sagittarius cycle right now with the new moon in Sagittarius that occurred on November the 26th. And as I explained in my new moon in Sagittarius video, whatever actions are taken need to have a measured and strategic, thought through approach to them. You need to think of consequences. You need to think of why you're doing what you're doing. You need to be present. It is not a time to be rash. It is a time to be intelligent, strategic. Whether it is in defining your own goals and what your sense of vision is and your sense of truth is for yourself, and how that is being used and implemented to sort out your relationships or move towards whatever it is that you want to achieve in this world. And here we have the sign of Capricorn. The sign of Capricorn is preoccupied with us fulfilling our potential on this planet in time-space reality, and achieving our highest potential, achieving success. In Capricorn terms, success is not a big house or multiple houses or walking along a red carpet in designer duds and diamonds, although that can be a manifestation based on other aspects of your chart of how that success might be expressed. And for some people, that may be what they are after, but it's not really Capricornian. Capricorn is much more ascetic, much more disciplined, much more about what is your calling, what is your truth, what is your potential, and let's go and make sure that you can get to the very top or as far as you can in achieving what your gifts and potentials are. The sign of Capricorn is a serious sign, where serious is about the seriousness of living and why we are here and what we are here to do. Someone's career could be to be a parent, and so if one's calling is to be a parent, be a mother or be a father, and that was your sense or feeling that that is your primary calling, then as far as Capricorn is concerned, it may very well be that the satisfaction comes from however achievement is defined for your personality within the realm of that job. Is it that your children are successful commercially and professionally? Is it that they are happy? Is it an emotional measure of success? Is it a financial measure of success? All of that plays into it based on each person. With Capricorn, however, issues related to stability, security, and having enough. Capricorn may be an ascetic sign, but it is not a sign that favors, for the most part, depending on the placement, unless your ambition is to be a monk, or to be somehow removed, or to be a spiritual teacher who relinquishes. That could be very Capricornian too. But Capricorn's preoccupation when it comes to success, for the most part, comes down to the fulfillment of one's potential, and more often than not has to do with financial security at the very least, and abundance through that lens. Capricorn is not about spending money as much as it is about having money. Okay. Jupiter, which is what this video is about, traditionally has the opposite characteristics of Capricorn. Jupiter is about luck. Saturn, as a planet which rules Capricorn, is about hard work. Jupiter is about things being brought to you. Saturn is about you creating whatever it is that needs to be created based on your hard work and your sense of discipline, and you're putting in the effort and you're putting in the work and you're sharpening your skills. So you have the planet of luck, bounty, spiritual connection to God, the law of attraction planet, if you want to call it that way, the planet that brings things to you to some extent. Venus falls in this category, Jupiter falls in this category. You have this planet, also a spiritual planet, a planet that connects you to God, connects you to spirit, gives you a sense of what your purpose truly is. Not necessarily a practical planet, but a planet that expands our horizons and connects us to higher truths. Traditionally, as I said, Jupiter and Saturn are opposing polarities, opposing planets. Jupiter is happy and gives us luck. Saturn constrains luck and makes us work and brings intensity. Jupiter is in Saturn's primary sign. So Jupiter, Jove, this jovial, pot-bellied, gray-haired planet of plenty and planet of things coming and being in touch with spirit and being in the flow and expanding your mind and not really being preoccupied with the mundane, is spending a year being a house guest in the house of someone who has very different preoccupations. Saturn is that strict grandparent or that strict parent or that strict teacher who wants you to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and run around the field 5 times, or make sure that you're clear about what your to-do lists are, make sure you aren't getting distracted, make sure you don't reach for the chocolate cake 5 times a day, make sure you are not indulging in a lot of alcohol or whatever it is that, you know, maybe putting you in touch with higher realms but is taking away from achieving your potential on this higher realm. As a result of which, Jupiter's transit in Capricorn traditionally is not considered a very happy time, not a very light time, not a very easy time. You are going to have to rely on yourself and your efforts and your abilities. On yourself and your efforts for the next year. You cannot rely on luck. And Jupiter has a tendency to grease the wheels and make things happen. And sometimes when we pray and say, oh my God, I'm in trouble, can you please make this go away? We have these flashes of luck where Jupiter comes in and helps us out. It's not going to work that way. Not since December the 3rd, not till December 2020. As I said, Venus's entry into Capricorn, and this was my last video yesterday, has been very helpful and very timely on November the 25th to December the 20th, because Venus has automatically shifted our mindset and our internal values. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll up our sleeves and start get off our butts and start achieving something real and concrete after an October, November, and to some extent December of dealing with emotional enmeshments. And we're done. We're tired. We've had enough. The only danger is that you're going to move swiftly into achievement mode with the planets building up there, and understandably that feels like a happier place to put in your efforts than boundaries and relationships. The only danger is that you may not finish up the work that is Scorpionic. You need to finish that up and get things in a relatively functional place. Whether the functionality has to do with how you will be operating in these closed relationships, financial and emotional, moving forward, whether you will be separating, whether turn down the noise, get things to more balanced, productive space, because it is time to roll up our sleeves, and achieve our potential. And Jupiter and Venus right now, the two planets of bounty, and let's watch 3 TV shows in a day, and it's just, that is not the energy anymore, and it will not work, and it will not be rewarded. In the right mindset, why are we born, and what is our relationship to God? When it comes to us in astrology, the sun stands for our soul. The moon and Mercury are closest. I was going to say closest to the sun. That is not technically true. They're closest from an astrological perspective. They are so closely identified with us that I think we identify more with the moon, our impulses, our emotional and intuitive impulses, the moon, and our mind, the way the mind processes and puts things into words. I think we're much more identified when we're not being conscious with the moon and Mercury. So the moon and Mercury really define our sense of self. If the soul, the sun, is our inner self, Mercury and the moon are what we consider ourselves. With Venus and Mars, there is desire, value, action. Those are slightly more external. And Venus and Mars, along with the moon and Mercury to some extent, can bring things from outside, but we're moving from planets that are an expression of us to planets where there's a greater co-creative ability, where the planets bring us things and we also co-create. With Jupiter and Saturn, we start to introduce a certain amount of God energy. In Jupiter's case, a connection to the divine and a happy feeling and a happy connection with God, the power of prayer, the power of intention, the power of truth, the power of clarity, the power of expanding our mind in exciting ways, increasing our intelligence, increasing our sense of consciousness. In Saturn's case, God as the teacher, as karma, as karmic teacher, the planet really of, in Hindi or Sanskritic terms, being a karma yogi. You do the work, you do the action, you chop wood, you carry water. You get up every morning and you take certain actions and you will see results. Saturn would say it is the only way you will see results. And in many regards, Saturn would be true. In Jupiter's case and Saturn's case, I find that the energies work counter to commonplace understandings of how these planets work. In Jupiter's case, the common understanding is that when Jupiter enters a part of a chart, you're going to make millions of dollars and you're going to get promoted and these amazing things happen. Jupiter provides lucky breaks, I find. So in Jupiter's influence, or under Jupiter's influence, something can end there can be a breakdown so that something new can start. Wherever Jupiter goes is the end of a 12-year cycle and a start of a 12-year cycle, 12 to 13-year cycle. So think back to 2008, 2009, and what started there. And it's not that you're going to deal with an identical or get an identical thing this coming year, but it could very well be that thematically, the growth and the new beginning, it could be that thematically they're linked. A 12-year cycle is ending and a new 12-year cycle is starting with Jupiter's entry into Capricorn. It will be serious, it will require to roll up your sleeves, and it will likely require a certain amount of hard work. If you have an Aquarius ascendant, that's the one place, because Capricorn is going to be in the house of rest, where these energies may bring a certain amount of hard work in a more behind the scenes kind of way. Some would even say restful way to some extent, say in a more retiring way, and pulling you off the grid, pulling you off the hamster wheel way. But the general themes stay constant. Saturn, I find, when you do the work related to Saturn, and the reason why we're talking about Saturn so much, talking about Saturn is like talking about Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn, it's a similar energy. The energy of Saturn is that if you roll up the sleeves and do the hard work for the 2.5 years that Saturn is in a particular sign, and Saturn entered Capricorn on December the 20th, 2017, then Saturn rewards you handsomely, typically, and builds a foundation that will last for a really long time. So in some ways, Jupiter's energy can feel more like Saturn's, in that it ends something or creates a breakdown or a crisis so that something new can start. And Saturn's energy can feel like Jupiter's, where if you cooperate with Saturn's energy, bounty is given to you, success is given to you, but you do have to do the work. And the work is hard, and the work has to do with your potential, your routine, your rhythms, how you manage yourself, your sense of discipline. It has to do with your sense of believing in yourself and believing that you're important. Saturn and the sign of Capricorn are fundamentally about self-love. Love of your potential, love of why you're here, love of achievement. Procrastination is not going to be rewarded. And procrastination and relying on luck, or relying on things like the law of attraction, or a lot of esoteric spiritual stuff, will not get you anywhere for the next year. And as scary as that sounds, I think we're being gently guided with Venus's presence in Capricorn till December the 20th to we're ready to go. Venus's presence there has already shifted us by saying, you know what, I'm tired of all this. I want to achieve some stuff. Great, lean on that. And with Saturn or Capricorn's energy and Jupiter in Capricorn, it doesn't mean that you have to set up a punishing routine or schedule or like go on a diet that is ultimately going to be unsuccessful. It's not about all of a sudden deciding that you're going to wake up in the morning and it's all going to be all work. It's more of a question of attuning yourself to a schedule that actually leads to success. So yes, Saturn and Capricorn are ascetic and disciplined in nature. Sometimes that can show up as just having a lot to do and a lot being placed on you. Sometimes that expresses itself in the bar being placed really high. You go out and you look for some work and you're excited and you do a lot of work to get it and you get it, but then when you start doing it, you realize how high the bar is placed, and that is what gets you to become better. It's a time to work. It's a time to look at it's a time to go out there and climb those mountains and achieve stuff. And we're feeling it already. So let's get into it. And by all means, put some time and attention into how you're going to manage, how are you going to feed that inner child once a day so it doesn't sabotage you? Are you going to all of a sudden go into a diet that is going to lead to failure, or are you going to find a way to balance things so that you can truly achieve? What does it look like? And I don't know that necessarily being the end result for the sign of Capricorn, for the sign of Saturn, is for you to be effective, not to be ineffective. So don't misunderstand the ascetic disciplinarian nature of things, but be clear that the bar will be set high and it will be up to you, and there's a reason for it. So I said something in the middle of this reading and seemingly went off topic, which is, what is your relationship with God? What is your relationship with life? Sometimes with Jupiter and with Venus, there's a tendency to sit back and enjoy the bounty they bring when they're in their strength. The cigars are there, the wine is there, the DVDs are there, the spirituality and the spiritual books are there, and we can space out and we can grow and increase our intelligence and live a bounteous life and feel really easy. But I can't honestly say that we normally or naturally would feel fulfilled. In divine terms, fulfillment and real happiness would come from being clear about why we're here and taking the actions to move towards it, and then savoring the results of that action and the quality and the nature of that action, that work. I'm not going to use the term hard work, although Capricorn, it will be. You will be stretched. The quality, the interplay between action and how the universe responds to reward it. Action, reaction, karma, result, is where, astrologically, it might be argued, the source of fulfillment and happiness truly lies. Not in the shortcuts, not in enjoying the bounty, although that can be nice and it can ease things and it can feel lucky and it can feel happy. The question now is one of fulfillment. So, with Jupiter in Capricorn for the next 12 or 13 months, it is up to you. And I would imagine that you're already feeling this. And it is a time for new beginnings in the part of the chart where Capricorn is. Capricorn energy is very complicated right now, and more videos on Capricorn will be coming because we have Saturn, Pluto, the South Node, eclipses here, the Sun coming in here, Mercury coming in here. So it's not an entirely clean energy, but I feel very comfortable and confident in saying Jupiter is not a small planet. Jupiter is not Venus or Mercury or the Sun that are going to be out of here in a few weeks. Jupiter's here for a year. And Jupiter's entry into Capricorn is when everything that you have been dealing in the sign of Capricorn since December 2017 is going to get real. And it is time now. Do I consider Jupiter a god planet or Saturn a god planet? They both are. But now, this is it. This is it. You have Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and for the first half of next year, the South Node. I mean, it is time to get off our butts. And it is time to truly lean into and feel the joy of becoming better at what we do and becoming more productive, and experience the joy of karma, the joy of taking action and seeing the results and experiencing the results, the joy of starting to write that book, go for those sales and learn what is working and what is not working, and being real and falling down and getting up and dusting up our behinds and taking stock of our lessons, and the joy of gently working out every day so that we can truly become strong and lean and effective and achieve. But with Jupiter in Capricorn, a certain amount of relaxation, the joy is not going to come from what you think. The joy that may come from good luck and relaxing and spacing out and putting up our feet is not going to be there. This is a serious year, and it is time to get serious. With Venus there right now, no one wants to hear this kind of language because it reminds us of something paternal. Frankly, it's Saturnian. But with Venus in Capricorn right now, we're already feeling like we're ready to go. We've had enough. As I said, the biggest mistake you can make in December is not finishing up and cleaning up that relationship bullshit that you need to clean up. And it doesn't have to be bullshit. In some cases, it could mean you and another party coming together in some way. Do what you need to get the scorpionic financial and emotional relationship enmeshments put in a place by January the 3rd in the next few weeks, even in the next 4 or 5 days, take some action around it so that you are in preparation mode and you are clearing the space to be able to think of it as clearing the path between you and your goal, you and your potential, you and your highest achievement, so that by the time December the 25th and then January rolls around, you have a clearer path, less relationship, financial enmeshment, undergrowth, and you can go directly from where you are to where that goal is. It's not, you will not have Jupiter giving you a conveyor belt that you can just get on and that you will be taken there. You're going to have to walk on that path step by step. And when you align with the energies of Saturn and Capricorn effectively, that process, that yoga, that yog, that karma yog, I got a little American accenty there, that discipline in action, the joy of disciplined action, the joy of intentionally writing that email, creating that presentation, having that conversation with one's boss, having that conversation with one's team, whatever that looks like, achieving, having that conversations with one's children, whatever, wherever your sense of fulfillment and potential is. December is a time to clear the path emotionally, financially, in terms of enmeshments and relationships. But be clear that 2020 is the time to start achieving things. And that the only way through, with Jupiter now, with the jovial planet constricted in ascetic Saturn's rooms, your luck will come through your dedicated, joyful, committed work and commitment to your potential. Your luck will not come from sitting back and expecting it to rescue you. You now need to rescue yourself. You now need to build and move towards what you truly desire in your heart, and be clear that you will be walking step by step, and enjoy and get into a mind frame of enjoying that every step you take, you will be gaining something. And unless I'm mistaken, we're all itching to, well, we're ready for it. We may not be effectively executing, it being sort of Sagittarius season, but I would strongly suggest that you get into execution mode, both first clearing the space relationally as best you can, and very, very soon, the Capricorn energies are going to really dominate. It is time to, you're identifying your goals with these planetary activity in Sagittarius that are currently occurring, your truth and what you want to achieve, and already, and frankly, it's going to be time to move towards those goals, okay? It's as if the planet of, it's as if the planet of excess, almost to some extent, or luck or joviality or wisdom and intelligence of a certain kind, of leisure or relaxation, has gone into a monastery and is going to be asked to meditate every day from 5:30 to 7:30 in the morning. And it is going to be through that meditation. Oh, that's a horrible example. It's a good example in literal terms. I'm going to rephrase that, because I really feel that this, what I'm going to say now, is true. It is about finding the joy in action and achievement. Here's the analogy that is coming to my mind. Let's say that you have a dartboard, and let's say, or a target, and let's say that you have to shoot arrows onto that target. It is time to enjoy the process of becoming so good as an archer that you consistently hit that bullseye. A sports analogy is a really good one for this. You've got to get up there, you've got to train. if it's the 4-minute mile you're trying to run, or if it's the swimming meet, and if you are in a place that you feel that you're kind of not ready or not in practice or not in routine, you're not going to get there right away. It could mean that, you know, you decide that, yeah, you want to do the 4-minute mile, but for the first X number of days, months, whatever, it's about running those 10 feet, 20 feet, that first mile, then the first and the second mile. That's the analogy. You want to play tennis really well. You want to hit that arrow to its target. How are you going to get there? And the joy is in the process and in getting up and not letting the failure deter you, and indeed using everything, including the failures, to help you get in touch with the joy of the process and becoming really good at something. And that something could very well be your truest potential and what you're here to try and do and achieve. And as I said, with Venus there right now, I don't think that that is going to be, typically language like that is not music to our ears. But right now, we're kind of ready. The question is just doing the work to start that process. And part of starting that process, I'm repeating myself, and over the 30-minute mark, and I'm going to end this, part of that process is getting the relationship stuff that's been brewing since October in its place. Okay, here's to finding the joy in our work and our being effective, our being productive, our being skilled. I asked the question, what is your relationship with God? Until December the 19th, 2020, my friends, work is worship. With Jupiter in Capricorn and all the Capricorn energy at play, your work is your worship. Okay, if you found this video useful, feel free to share it. My contact information is going to be in the description area. You're welcome to reach out to me if you want a easy to read version of your chart. That'll tell you which signs are in which houses. You will need to know your birth time for that. Or if you want to contact me for a personal reading, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you know when I'm doing new videos. The next video currently planned is going to be on the full moon in Gemini on December the 11th. I think that's my plan right now and should be here in the next couple of days. All right, thanks very much. Take care.